Hi everyone, it's Sarah. I am so glad to be back here. I haven't really been recording over the last year or so because I wasn't really sure how I wanted to move this channel along. But I've been kind of thinking a little bit about some 2020 goals. So I figured I would start by talking about that. I always want to run more games. That's always going to be a goal of mine. I think last year I ran 12. My biggest year, I think, was the year I went to Gen Con, which was 2017. And I ran 15 that year for Road Crew. I've had Road Crew years that I've barely ran any. I started late 2014, so I only ran a couple of Road Crew games, I think, in 2014. 2015, I ran a couple, and then that's after that is when I really started to run more public games. But that aside, it is we're pretty far into 2020, a couple of weeks in already, and I still don't even have anything scheduled for 2020. So my other goal, we're going to talk about that one instead, is that each week I want to take the time to read something that I haven't read before related to DCC. So a module, something from one of the core rule books, like a chapter, or just to further understand how something might work within like spell duels. I haven't really done much with spell duels. I've read the stuff. Obviously I've listened to the Spellburn where they talk about it more than once, and I still have to think about it whenever it comes up in topic. So that would be a nice thing to kind of delve into a little bit. So I have the DCC RPG core rulebook. I have Mutant Crawl Classics. I have the Lankmore box set. I have some third-party stuff too, like I have Hubris and some of the stuff on Dark Trails. I just got the quick start guide. I'm excited about delving into that a little bit. And so yeah, I have some of the third-party stuff as well as the core books that I could talk about. Articles in zines are another thing I was thinking about, because I think I have purchased all of the digital copies of Crawl. I have purchased some of the Crawl Jammers, some of the Crawling Under a Broken Moon. So I have things like that, and all of the Gong Farmers Almanacs. Obviously, I have those on digital copy. So I have lots of stuff I can talk about, as well as some adjacent stuff. Like I was thinking maybe I could go a little bit into some of the stuff in like the Dungeon Alphabet, or the trying to think of some of the other, obviously Monster Alphabet. Don't have Cthulhu yet. The Cthulhu Alphabet is a goal to procure sometime in 2020 as well, because I think that would be a fun one to read through as well. So yeah, that's kind of my thought, is that each week I want to talk about one of these things that I read. So I'm not really sure how far or how deep I'm going to actually go into my video talking about stuff, and that's one of the things I want your help with. So I'm gonna probably surprise you a little bit with what my first week selection is, because I have a feeling that a lot of y'all have probably read this one or played in a game of it or something, and that is Doom of the Savage Kings by Harley Stroh. To say I'm a fan of Harley Stroh is an understatement. Sailors on the Starless Sea was the first module that I ran. I ran it for my daughter and my husband in early 2014. Well, Father's Day 2014. This came with my pre-order copy of DCC RPG Core Rulebook. So I've mentioned it before on one of my videos. My brother Carl bought DCC RPG, pre-ordered it for us through one of our local game stores, Fair Game in Downers Grove at the time. I'll give a little shout out to them. He pre-ordered through them for us, and this was something that came free with the pre-order. And I haven't cracked it because it's not a funnel. One of the things I will say, that if you know me, you know that I ran a lot of funnels and not a lot of upper level stuff. So I've ran a lot more funnels than I have upper level stuff. So you are going to notice that, especially in the modules. Even though I do have some funnels that are level 0 that I haven't read that I will talk about, you will notice that that the modules are going to be a lot more upper level. So, Doom of the Savage Kings. I'm going to read the little blurb on the back to you in case you don't know it. This is a level 1. It's number 66.5, and it is a level 1 adventure by Harley Stroh. High above the windswept moors and darksome woods, the village of Harrow is under siege. Each night, as the sun sinks below the western mountains and the candles burn low, a devil beast stalks the village streets, unleashing its savage fury on the living. From warlord to pauper, crone to child, no one is safe. Defeating the immortal hound will require more than mere blades or even spells. To slay the beast, the characters must delve into the mysteries of the land and its savage kings. Only then, armed with relics forged from a bloody past, can the most cunning and courageous of adventurers challenge the Hound of Harrow. And I'm not sure if it's Harrow or Harrot. If you know, let me know, because I'd like to pronounce it the way that the author intended it to be pronounced. So yeah, I want to start by saying I really enjoyed this. I expected that I would. One of the things I want to talk about is that I think he does a really good job with creating this as a more sandbox type adventure. There's a lot of adventures that I'm aware of that kind of tend to railroad you. I mean, it's a thing, especially with funnels, that it's almost expected. So this one just has a lot of ways that the characters can go off and do their own thing in the way and order that they want to. And I like that. I like when the player characters get to take a little bit of agency in what they want to do. The other thing that I really enjoyed about this is his little bits of NPC write-ups. So he doesn't give you just a ton, but he gives you a little bit of idea of what their motivations are and a little bit of their characteristics. So it's easier for you to know that going into role-playing them. And I appreciate just that couple of sentences that went, oh yeah, this is why this character is here, and this is their motivation. I like that a lot. Those are things that I really enjoyed, and like I said, I enjoy the story too. It just is, it's like reading a little small books to me, and I like that. The only concern that I have about this, and this is 8 years old, and I know it's been reprinted, and I'm gonna say that I am talking about this as the edition that I got in 2012. I don't know if there have been any modifications. I know other modules have had modifications, so I know that there is a chance. I don't know about this specifically. If you know, that would also be a good thing to let me know, because I don't know all of the history of all of this. But I do feel like, just on reading it, that maybe it's a little more deadly than I would expect a level 1 adventure to be. Like, some of it almost feels like funnel deadly. But you know, it's the kind of thing that if you get into it and find that your characters are over your head, you can modify stuff, or there's nothing in here I think that you would have to do just exactly as it's written, as far as that goes. So there would be probably ways to easily change that if you feel like everybody's dying, or you can have a TPK and just start over, because that's fun too. But yeah, and like I said, I've not read this. I've just recently read it in the last few days. So if you've ran it and you found that it's super deadly or not super deadly, I'd like to know that too. See, this is what I really want, is there to be like a sounding board back, especially for people who, like me, are reading these for the first time, but also for people who have read through it or played or whatever. I don't know how much stuff I want to talk about in these videos, because I don't want to be like all spoilery, but I also kind of feel like in the comments, if the discussion I want to happens, then it might be a little spoilery. So just kind of be warned. And I may not get any comments on these. I don't know, but I'm just excited to be here talking to y'all again. So my plan is to shoot these videos once a week. I am not scheduling a certain day to do it, because as soon as I do that, it falls apart. So I'm just going to know better. I had really hoped to have this filmed on Wednesday. I knew the first week, it being a short week, I probably wasn't going to get one done, but I had planned on shooting this on Wednesday, and that kind of fell apart. So I just am going to have to be happy with putting one out once a week whenever it may fall, and hope that I manage to do that. So yeah, so next week will be something that'll be digital. I don't know what yet, because I have a lot of stuff to think about. I'm probably going to do an article from a zine, because that's where most of my digital stuff is. So yeah, I'm excited to be back, and I hope you join me next week. Let me know if you have any comments or questions, and I will see y'all later. Bye.